Hey, good evening, folks. Good evening. This is Manny the Magoo, and it's the week February 21st, Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. It's 6 p.m. right now, and what I want to do is I want to put out my watch list for this coming week. So you're going to want to grab a pen, piece of paper. You're going to want to jot down some notes for yourself. I've identified, again, 7 stocks that are on my watch list for this week. Some of them, folks, I do repeat. They don't do what I want them to do. Doesn't mean they're not good for the following week. So I want to just dive right in here and get to it. So the first stock on our watch list for this week is Apple, AAPL. Now, folks, this is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Pick up the phone, contact your financial advisors. Please do so if you have any questions. I'm just showing you how I trade. I'm a price action trader. Been doing this for a very, very long time. And I like playing the breaks of support and resistance. I love playing weekly and monthly breaks because they hold a lot of weight when they do break. Okay, so let's dive right in here. We got Apple. That's the first stock on our watch list. Now, folks, for those of you that are new to the channel, the first thing I always do is I always go back to a monthly chart. As you can see here, these are all monthly candles, okay? And what I do is I zoom in on the previous month's high and the previous month's low, okay? January's high was 145.09 for Apple. January's low was 126.38, okay? What I do is I draw a horizontal line in the high and low, and what I do is I leave that line on there for the remaining following month of February, okay? When February turns into March, I do the same thing with February. I put in my high, my low on February, I leave them there. Then what I do is I go to a weekly chart, okay? And every week, I draw the previous week's high and low. So last week's high on Apple was 136.01. The low was 127.41. Okay? So what I'm doing right now is I want to see a break of the area that I've identified here. Okay? Now, if you take a look at Apple, this is a 1-year daily chart. So these are all daily candles. And I'm going to zoom in right about here. Okay? There you go. Hope you can see that. As you can see here, folks, Apple, ran up in this area here back in September 2nd to as high as 137.98. And then it failed to go any higher. Okay? And take a look here on 12/29, it pretty much got to that same level again and then failed to go any higher. It did break out of that area on January 21st, and that's when it ran to that 145.09. But since then, all it's been doing is literally throwing up. Apple has pulled back quite a bit. So what I start doing is I start identifying the first areas of support after a large run like this. As you can see, when Apple was at $145.09, it was a bit extended, meaning that it was a bit of a parabolic move. Stocks don't just go up well, I'm not going to say that. Cryptocurrency's been doing that. But at the same time, it's not normal for a stock to go just straight up. They do have to pull back. They have to find some support before they can go up again, okay? So, but I was watching this, and for sure I thought Apple would probably hold this first support, which is roughly about $139, okay? But it broke the support. Now the support becomes resistance. So, next support on Apple would have been right about here. That was that gap up, okay? On 121. It's the low of the 121 candle. And that low was 133.59. Okay? As you can see, Apple did again break that area. Okay? Now Apple is getting very interesting because it's coming to an area that it has a tremendous amount of support. As a matter of fact, if you take a look here, you'll find it ran up on October 13th to about 125.39, 126, let's call it. Then it ran here to about, again, 126. Now that 126 area was, a matter of fact, its last month's low is, let's take a look. Let's see here. Oh, what's this? Okay, here. If you take a look here, that's 126.38. Okay, so last month's low was 126.38. And this past week, Apple actually got to as low as 127.41 before it did finally find support. If you take a look to the left, you'll see there's a lot of consolidation in this area. And this is called consolidation accumulation, because what happened was it consolidated and it accumulated to go up, meaning that it broke the first resistance here. Okay? This is the first resistance after a consolidation. So in order, when Apple was here in this area, in order for Apple to go any higher, it had to break this candle's high, which is the 1-8 candle, 132.63. Okay? So I like Apple. Apple has a long way to go up. 136.01, it would have to really have a decent run in order to break last week's high. However, I don't know if Apple's going to break last week's low, which is 127.41, and then go back inside. Okay, so we've clearly identified the low of 127.41 as last week's low. If Apple breaks 127.41, 127.41 no longer becomes support. It becomes resistance. So what I like to do is I like to see if it does break this area and stays in between the monthly low, last month's low, which is 126.38, and the 127.41. If Apple breaks back above 127.41, I will take this trade. Okay? I love playing the breaks. And just like I play the break for it to go higher, I also play the break if it breaks support and then goes back inside that support. Okay? I like taking the trade. And it's very simple because I've identified 127.41 as that break, okay? Just like I've identified 136.01 as last week's high. Now, we can break there. If we break 136.01, I'm going to take the trade, knowing that 136.01 now is my support, okay? If it comes back down and breaks that 136.01, guess what? I can always get out, yes? Okay? All right, so Apple, first stock on our watch list. The second, this is definitely not for the faint of heart, but ARCT. Now, folks, this stock moves on average $6.31 a day. So please be very, very careful with this stock, okay? As a matter of fact, if you don't want to play it, that's fine with me, okay? However, I like it. This was last week's high. Last week's high is 75.38. Last week's low was 62.45, and I'm looking at a daily now, and as you can see, and I'm going to tell you why I really like it, okay? Take a look at these candles here. You've got a candle on 5/19 that went as high as 62.97. You've got another candle here around that $63 mark. You've got another one here that went as high as 66.24. And then failed to go any higher. You've got another candle here on 11/6 that went as high as 64.50 and failed to go higher. Okay? So, what happens when you break this area? For example, check this out. Here you go, folks. I'm going to show you something. Okay? Let me show you something really quick. Hold on a second here. Okay. If you take a look at this area here, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? We have 4 failures. A failure means a stock moved up and it failed to go any higher. That area is resistance. That's resistance number 1. Stock goes up, gets to that area again. That's resistance number 2. Stock goes up, gets to that area again, pulls back, resistance 3. And there you have resistance 4. So clearly, obviously, that's a major area of resistance. So what happens when you break a major area of resistance? Let me show you. Here. this is what happens. Here's the break, and look at it running. Okay, it really ran after it made that break. So why am I liking this again? Yes, I know it's coming down. That I do know. However, I see a tremendous amount of consolidation here. I also know that this is a major, major support. And look what it did last, this was actually a Thursday candle. It came down to 62.45 before it's starting now to march up again. So, is ARCT going go up? Maybe, I don't know. But I have identified 75.38, so write that down. $75.38 is clearly a break of last week's high, and last week's low is 62.45. Okay, so is ARCT going to break this area? If it does, I'm going to take the trade. Is ARCT going to break down and then go back inside? Yes, I will take the trade. Okay, so again, if there's something you don't understand, please mention it to me on the comments below, and I will reach right back out to you. Okay, third stock on our stock list, SBE, Switchback Energy. Okay, here you have it, folks. I've got an inside week. What are inside weeks? An inside week is a candle that is not strong enough to break the previous weekly high, but it's not weak enough to break the previously weekly low. It's inside. It's inside this price, the high and the low. Inside candles are indecision candles, but they're also short-term momentum indicators, meaning that whichever way we break, so if we break $39, chances are we are going to go higher. If we break $35.79, which we are going to go lower. Okay? So again, those are the areas that I have identified. I've got $39 on SBE. I need to see a break there. Or if it goes down to $35.79 and then goes back inside, I'm going to take that trade. Okay? And here you have it. So here's a 1-year daily chart. As you can see, there's a tremendous amount of support right here in this area. Okay, this is the last support of the low of that candle is 36. As you can see, we got down to about 35.79 before we started to reclaim here. Here on Friday, we got down to 36.01 actually. And it's not moving. It seems like it's kind of getting steady here as putting in a base. And I'd like to see what this thing does. But SBE, that is the third stock on our watch list. Next, number 4 is eBay, E-B-A-Y. I love eBay. I love what it's doing. It's broken out of this area here, which was the 52-week high back on July the 13th of 61.06. It broke out of there. It's run to 64.85. And what is it doing right now? It's doing a whole lot of consolidation. So are we gonna consolidate to accumulate to go higher? Or are we gonna consolidate and distribute to go lower? We don't know. The only thing I know is this: if eBay, here's a weekly chart, okay? If eBay breaks $64, Manny Magoo will take that trade, okay? And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a break of 64. Or if eBay breaks 61.87, which would be support, comes down, and then goes back in, I'll play that 61.87 break. Okay? So that's eBay. eBay's number 4. Next on our watch list, this is a new one, folks. It's IP, International Paper. It doesn't move much at all. I like that it had an inside week right here. So I clearly identify a high of 49.56. A break of 49.56 would get me in. Okay? Here's a daily chart on it. A lot of consolidation in this area, and right now it did reclaim it, and it's holding this area. So I'm looking for a break. Again, I'm looking for a break of 49.56. This stock doesn't move much, has an ATR of $1.34, but I wanted to put it out there. It seems like a pretty safe play. Okay. Next is PLTR, Palantir. Palantir did completely puke. And what did it do? It found support right here. Okay? That's the support. We have a gap to fill to the upside, and I'm looking for a break of $30.44 before I can take Palantir long again. But I think it could get there. Again, I'm not 100%. I don't have a crystal ball. All I know is that, if Palantir, in order for Palantir to get out of this area, it has to break $30.44. And then maybe we can start marching up again. So PLTR, that is number 6 on the watch list. And last but not least, I have AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, AMD. Let's go to a weekly. Okay, here you have it. It's been doing a whole lot of nothing for weeks on end. It's really been in this range. It's either going to start working or it's just going to continue in this range. But AMD does move. I like playing AMD. It's given me a tremendous reward on a short-term basis as well. Even swing trading it, I've been doing very well with AMD because AMD does move. I've got a high identified of $94. And I've got a low identified at $87.31. I'm looking for a break of 94, or if AMD wants to come down, break 87.31, and who knows, maybe it'll even break last month's low of 85.02. But if it breaks both last week's and last month's low, and it reclaims it and then goes back inside, boy, I'm gonna load up on my AMD. Okay, so here's the 1-year daily chart. As you can see, a whole lot of chop in this area. Every time it gets down to around here, it pushes back up. Every time it gets down here, it gets bought back up. Okay, and clearly you can see these failures here are support. Okay, as you can see, AMD moved up here on August the 7th, failed to go any higher. It finally broke, then came back down, went up again to that failure, came back down, went up again to that failure, came back down. So clearly, we have a lot of support here, okay? So let's see if AMD could start marching up again. So there you have it, folks. Again, let's run it down. It's Apple, APPLE-ARCT-SBE-EBAY, EBAY-IP International Paper, Palantir, PLTR, and last but not least, AMD Advanced Micro Devices. I hope these videos are helping. Folks, I do not mind reaching out to anyone, explaining to them a little bit about how I trade, okay? It's free. Take advantage of it if you do like it. If there's something you don't understand, you can always comment, or you can email me at hunterchasetrading@gmail.com. hunterchasetrading@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to take some time and explain it to you. It's free, folks. This is free information. I don't charge you a penny for it. And the only thing I ask you to do is subscribe to the channel. That's all I ask. Okay? So enjoy the rest of the Sunday and safe trading.